Okay, so welcome everybody, especially those of you who are new. We are so excited that you have jumped in with us. I see several new faces on here tonight. And I know that there's already been so many new team members welcome just since conference. And we are so pumped for every single one of you guys. And just so excited for what this, the rest of this month holds, but what this year as a whole holds. I know there's going to be so much blessing poured out on every single one of you guys if you will simply just believe. And so we're just going to jump right in and talk about what has to be done to maximize conference season. Confidence comes, you guys, from doing the work. Plain and simple. So if you're feeling like you're not confident in your business, or maybe you're new and you're like, oh, I just don't I don't know how I can get that confidence, or how I can get to that point where someone else is at. Confidence comes from doing the work. And so if you want to feel confident, you've got to do the work, because the more you do the work and the more you put one foot in front of the other, the more confident you will feel. But it doesn't come just on its own. It comes from you intentionally taking a step forward. The more conversations you have, the more confident you're going to feel in your conversations, the less awkward you'll feel, the more empowered you'll feel to go out and empower other women. And so, and men, I know we have several men on here tonight too, husbands tuning in. And I know so many of the husbands are jumping in and really wanting to help their wives. And I love that so much. I want you guys to know you guys always have Zach there to help you and support you in any way, as well as the rest of the group. But I love seeing so many men walking away from conference deciding they're going to get involved because you guys were better together. Zach and I and Deborah and Chris shared on that live that we did on my Facebook last week, which, by the way, if you haven't watched it yet, you haven't shared it with your potentials, especially potentials who have a skeptical husband, it's on my Facebook. You can send it to them, tag them in it, whatever. But we talked a lot about how, a woman whose husband is behind her and supports her and empowers her is a woman who is unstoppable, because she already has a team of women who's supporting her and cheering her on the team. And then now she's got her husband that has her back too. And so I love seeing so many husbands just really catch the vision at conference. I think that's so amazing. But okay, going back to confidence comes from doing the work. Step one to maximizing everything that's on the table, everything that Mark just dropped, is belief. You have to believe. And if you don't believe, you got to figure out why you don't believe, and you've got to make a decision to believe right now. I had a conversation with someone last fall on the team, and they said, I just don't know how you believe though. How did you believe before you saw it happen? And I said, because I saw it happen for so many other people. Why would it not happen for me? And she said to me something that was really concerning. She said, because how do I know God would want to do it for me too? And it broke my heart. I said, why would God want to do it for me and not want to do it for you? And she said, I don't know, but I don't know that he wants to do it for me. And so what I'm going to talk to you guys about is kind of an array of things, but it kind of is going to stem from that. From if you're struggling with belief, you're struggling from, can God do this for me? Can he bless me like he's blessed someone else? I want to start out with number one, doing your affirmations during conference season. I mean, number one, doing them all the time, doing them all year, but especially starting them right now if you haven't been doing them. I know I've been talking about affirmations a lot on the Diamonds and Above Zooms, a lot on the team Zooms and in Lives and Fire Tribe, but I know there's some of you that still haven't started. And that's fine, no judgment, but you need to start. If you're wondering why you don't believe, it's because you're not taking that step forward and consciously deciding to believe. And so I brought my affirmations in here. I keep them in my bedroom and I write them first thing in the morning when I wake up. Before I even pick up my phone or do anything, I write my affirmations. I read the prayer of Jabez. I listen to Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale on YouTube. And these are things you can write down, ideas for yourself too. Like starting the morning in that frame of mind of belief, and that just believing that anything is possible and that you can do anything is so crucial, you guys, if you want to be unstoppable in the business. And if you want to have that kind of belief now at an executive or a Ruby, or some of you are just, you just started, you're brand new, it comes with intentionally deciding to believe. Some people, guys, I've met executives who believe more than a triple diamond, simply because that executive is pouring into their mind, pouring into their belief. There were people when I got started in the business that were VIP, and I've passed them since then. And not because I'm so amazing, but because at that point I decided I'm going to believe I can be ambassador. Zach told me all the time, Brittany, you're ambassador. It's only a matter of time. But you have to tell yourself that. You have to decide right now that you're going to believe that's true for you. And so I wanted to read you guys my affirmations. And there's a couple things I wanted to point out and I wanted to talk to you guys about before we kind of really jump into the money part of this Zoom. Because if we don't get this right, the money doesn't come. This right here, you guys, these things, not believing these things is what will hold you back from a bigger paycheck. It's what will hold you back from earning these bonuses. I promise you there's going to be two types of people during conference season on the team right now. There's going to be people that decide they're laying their insecurities down and they're believing and they're going after everything that God has in store for them. Everything that's raining down, they believe it's for them and they're going to go after it. And then there's going to be people that sit down and they're like, well, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. People don't like me. People don't want to sign with me. And by the way, you guys, that's not going to be tolerated in the February chat. I saw a couple things this morning and I let it go, but it will not be tolerated at all going forward. So if you are in the February chat, do not bring your negativity there. If you are having a hard day, go to your enroller, but do not come in there talking about problems. Come in looking for solutions. You will always find what you're looking for. I just wanted to say that before I forgot. Okay, so I start out writing, and some days, you guys, I might write something a little bit different. There might be a couple on one day that weren't the day before, but for the most part, these stay pretty much the same. I write, I am redeemed for this. I am a multimillionaire. I am powerful. And I want you guys to know, some of you are already wondering like, oh, I don't believe I'm powerful. I don't care about being powerful. Well, the opposite of powerful is weak. So do you want to be powerful or do you want to be weak? I believe God's power runs through me. And so I want to be powerful. I'm powerful. I'm unstoppable. I'm independent. I'm full of life. I live my best life. I'm extremely wealthy. I'm influential. I'm top 10. I earn well over $100,000 a month. I'm double ambassador. I'm black diamond. I'm blessed and highly favored. I live a life of abundance. I attract abundance. I am joyful. I attract joy. My life is full of peace. I attract peace. Big brands want to work with me. I have a hit podcast. I fly only first class. And I'm going to stop and tell you guys something right now. I know there's some of you, you just turned your judgy cap on and you're like, oh, I don't care about flying first class. That's excessive. Okay, well, I want to live my best life. And I don't believe anything's excessive. I believe that God wants to bless me. And I believe that if it's exciting to me to fly first class, why not? Why can't I work hard for it? Why can't I work hard and that be my life? And some of you, that's your problem, is every time you hear something about money, you're like, oh, that's excessive. Oh, I don't need that. Well, here's the thing. There's an infinite amount of money in the world. It can be yours or it can be someone else's, but I'd rather money be in my hands because I know I'm a good person and I know I can live my best life with it, but I can also help other people live their best life with it. I can give back. I can be a blessing to others. And so I want to really challenge you. If you're thinking negative thoughts about money, especially as I'm reading this, write them down and figure out why after the Zoom, why you feel that way. I live in my, fly first class. I live in my dream house. I'm the best mother I can be. I have a thriving marriage. I have the best possible human experiences. I lead my team to victory. I break chains. I am the head and not the tail. My territory is constantly being enlarged. God's hand is on me. God wants to bless me. I am protected. I am a daughter of the one true King. And so that's what I write down every day. Sometimes it might be a little bit different, but that is the gist of what I write down every single day. And I start my morning before I talk to another single human, writing that down. Why do I do this? Because humans have human errors. There's going to be something about someone that bothers you today, tomorrow, the next day, the next day. You're going to get annoyed by something someone says. Someone might stress you out. So before I talk to a single human, team, family, friend, potential, it doesn't matter. I'm going to start with filling my cup up with truth and making sure my belief is way up here where it should be, that I believe that God's best for me is ahead of me and that I'm on the path to victory, that I'm on the path to everything he has for me, and that I'm enough to make things happen because he works through me every single day. I'm going to make sure that I'm listening to something inspiring. I'm going to, make sure that I'm filling my mind with things that challenge me to be a better person, watching a sermon on YouTube, listening to The Strangest Secret, things that are going to keep you on point and keep you in check. That's what you want to be doing at the start of every day, because I promise you it's really, really easy to fall into a slump. It's really, really easy when you're on a roll and things start going right for the enemy to slide in and pull a fast one on you. And some of you know what I'm talking about because it's happened to you before. It's happened to you lots of times. Some of you have come to me and you're like, why every time I'm about to promote do I feel under attack? Because that's the way he works. But you know what? We can choose to not be naive to his schemes, and we can choose to set ourselves up for success. And we can choose every single day to start off writing these things about us and believing these things about us. And that's the way that you can stand strong against the attack. That's the way that you can not react and not live your life reactively every time someone says something that's a little annoying, or someone, says something hurtful on a post or whatever. You have someone quit, you name it. If you want to be able to be resilient to those things that happen in your life, you've got to start off with this kind of stuff first thing in the morning. And so I want you to know, if you're determined to earn the maximum amount of bonuses, the maximum amount of, just commission in general through conference season, and you're wanting your team to go to the next level, it starts with you. It starts with you making these conscious decisions every single day. I saw Damaris said in the chat, she said, wow, never thought about it that way, that money can be yours or someone else's. Money can be in the hands of the kingdom, or it can be in the hands of what's the opposite of the kingdom, the enemy's kingdom. I'd rather it be in my hands, and then the hands of other people in the kingdom who are going to do good things with it. And I don't just mean people who go to church. I mean people who are actually going to go out and change the world. I'm reading a book right now that I just got for my birthday from my friend Brandy. It's called Not Safe by Mark Batterson. And I read the first 2 chapters this morning. And one of the chapters said, Jesus didn't die to make you safe, he died to make you dangerous. And he talked about in that chapter about how that's the problem with so many Christians, is they won't go, they won't like press the limit. They won't press the envelope. They are so concerned with fitting into conforming into the way they think they're supposed to look, the way the church wants them to look, that they never step out to change the world. And I don't want that to be me. And I want to go live boldly. And I don't, honestly, guys, I let go of what people thought about me, going after my best life a long time ago. And so I want you to know, if you have these negative thoughts about money, you got to ask yourself, where did they come from? I know the way I was raised, a lot of people thought it was excessive to have nice things. I remember my dad has been very wealthy since I was in elementary school, and his business only prospered more and more as I got older. And I can remember in 5th grade, he bought a Dodge Viper. And I remember I was so excited. I thought it was so cool. And I wanted him to pick me up from my private school in it, and he wouldn't. And I was like, why won't you pick me up from school? I want my friends to see it. He's like, well, because there's certain people who will think that's excessive. I just don't really want to make a scene. And I remember that always stood with me and stuck with me. And I remember thinking, why does he care if people see it? But I get it now, because there are people at church that 100% will be like, that money could have fed 7,000 children in Africa. And it's so sad, but that's the world we live in. And I want to encourage you to break away from that kind of a circle and find a circle like the Pentecost. Find a circle who lives their best life and still gives back in big and generous and crazy ways too. You know what's funny is the people that say those kinds of things, I don't see them change the amount of lives that I see Mark change. I don't see them going and feeding 400,000 children. I don't see them doing any of that because they're too busy judging the people who are making the money. And so you've got to decide right now, you're going to, whatever you want, whatever your heart desires, you're going to write it down, and you're going to believe that when you keep your heart in the right place and you stay close to God, he will do those things through you. And he's for you. He's not against you. He loves to bless you. I don't believe for a second that God doesn't want me to have nice things. I believe that when I work hard, he loves nothing more than to bless me. I believe when I work hard and I can make a difference in other people's lives and I can give back and I can honor him with my money, he loves nothing more than to bless me. And I've seen it time and time after again. I've seen the more success we've had and the more we've been able to give back, I've seen him pour even more out. And so I want you to know that if that's your issue, get that sorted out right now. Really, really take some time tonight to really write down your affirmations in general, but then really work through those things that maybe I read that triggered something in you and you're like, oh, I don't know that I would ever write that down. I don't know that I could say that. Why can't you? And get real with yourself about what you want, and don't worry about what people think. I know so many of you, it's your goal to retire your husband, but some of you have shared with me that there was a point in the business where you were embarrassed to tell people that you wanted to retire your husband because you were worried about what they thought. Step one to making it big during conference season and really, really maximizing the blessing that can be yours is not caring what people think about your dreams. They're not their dreams, they're your dreams. And so you've got to be unapologetic about your dreams and your goals. If it's to retire your husband, if it's to build $1 million home, if it's to travel the world, whatever it is, you've got to own that and start number one, putting it on your dream board, writing it out every day, and not worrying about if anyone else approves of it. I don't care what someone thinks about the house I'm going to build later this year. I don't care. I really don't. You know what? I'm going to have all of you guys over. We're going to have so much fun and make so many memories. I'm going to be able to do so much good. And I don't care if someone thinks it's excessive. And whatever your goal is, I promise you, there's going to be someone who doesn't think you should do it. There's going to be someone who thinks it's irresponsible to retire your husband, who thinks it's silly. There's going to be someone who thinks, oh, traveling, that's a waste of money. There's people that think things about everything. So get through worrying about what people think and leave all that behind you and decide to go forward being the best you and going after the dreams that are on your heart and trusting God to be with you every step of the way. I know I've talked about the prayer of Jabez on every single live and Zoom I've done in the past few weeks, but I'm talking about it a lot because when this team went presidential, you guys, in November of 2018, I started reading that book at the beginning of the month. I prayed the prayer over our businesses, our business, you guys' businesses, the entire team, literally every leg that I knew of that was promoting. I would start the morning off and I would just pray the prayer of Jabez over everybody. Before bed every night, I would pray it over everybody. And we did so much that month. We went presidential. I continued to pray the prayer. 5 months later, we went ambassador. And then sometime after going ambassador, I stopped praying the prayer. I don't know why. I don't have a good excuse. I was actually talking to Pam about it at lunch on Sunday when we were at a little lunch in Sarasota. And I was like, I don't know why I stopped that, Pam, but it's crazy because I saw a shift in my business when I stopped praying it. And she said, yeah, it's because when you were praying it, you were resting in the knowledge and the peace that it was going to happen. You knew he was going to do it. You knew he was going to bless you. There was not a single doubt in your mind he was going to do it. But when you stopped praying, you just started relying on your own work ethic and your own hustle and your own strengths, and you didn't depend on him to do it anymore. And I was looking at her and I was like, no, that's 100% what happened. And I was like, you know what's crazy, Pam, is I started praying it in December and everything started happening again. I said in January, I signed 24 customers. I said, and all but 2 were over 118 BV, and they came out of the woodworks, people I never even talked to. And she was just sitting there nodding and smiling. And she was like, yeah, it's because you were resting in the Lord. You asked him and you rested in the peace and assurance that he was going to do it. And she said, most people don't ever ask him. And if they do, they don't even think he's going to do it. And I was just sitting there wow, I can relate to this so much. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. Number one, buy the book. It's $9 on Amazon. Read through it. It's 7 chapters. The pages, what am I trying to say? The font is big. It's 5 pages for each chapter, and it breaks down the prayer. But I wanted to share with you guys real quick on here, if you want to write it down. And someone who has it memorized, I know several of you guys have the book. India, I know you have it if you want to type it in the comments. But I'm just going to say the prayer real quick so you guys can go ahead and write it down and start praying it, even if you can't get the book right away or it takes a couple days to get to you. But the prayer of Jabez is, "O Lord, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory and keep your hand with me, that I will be free and keep me free from evil, that I may not cause pain." And then at the end of the verse, it says, and God granted him what he requested. And so I just want to encourage you, start praying that. In the book, they break down the prayer and they break down that when he prayed, "Oh Lord, that you would bless me indeed." They said indeed was a very, very specific word in that prayer. He prayed it as if he knew he was going to do it. He knew God was going to bless him. He prayed that with confidence that God was going to respond with yes. Yes, I will bless you. Enlarging his territory. Obviously, you guys heard me say that in my affirmations. I write every single day. My territory is constantly being enlarged. And one thing I thought was really good, and this is what I wanted to share before I move on from this, is he said, when it says, and that you will keep your hand on me and you will keep me from evil. He said, notice Jabez didn't say that you will be with me through evil. He said that you will keep me from it. And in the book, the author says so many Christians have accepted that pain is a part of life and that they will have to go through hard times from time to time. And they just want God to be with them through it. That's all. And he says in the book, he said, that's fine. But what if you prayed for God to keep you from evil? What if you just asked God to keep you from evil? Why don't we do that? Why don't we think to do that? And he says so many of us have been taught from church from a young age that we will have to go through pain from time to time. So we don't even think to ask him to keep us from it. And he said Jabez lived a more blessed life than the rest of his brothers, the Bible tells us, because he prayed that God would keep him from evil. He didn't even want to have to go through it. He just said, God, keep me from it. Keep your hand on me and keep me from evil. And I literally look at what happened from presidential to ambassador, and I can't even explain it. It was the most peaceful time of my entire business, you guys, praying that prayer over our business and over our team every single day. And what's funny is when I stopped praying it, I started seeing a lot of stuff go wrong. So I'm a huge believer, and I want you guys to know every single one of you will see the blessing and the hand of God in your business if you'll just start praying this and praying it sincerely and praying it from a place of belief, knowing that he's going to answer you. Ashley asked who the author is. It's a blue book. I don't know who the author is. I don't have it with me. It's on my bed, but it's a blue book, like a turquoise book. Oh yeah, Bruce Wilkinson. India's showing in the thing. It's phenomenal, you guys. It's probably the best thing I'll ever tell you to read. So definitely get it. Anyways, though, so I wanted to just kind of go on from there and just really talk, going back to belief, talking about believing that God is going to bless you during this time. That's step one. You can do all the same things that someone else is doing during conference season. You can put in even more work than someone else. But if you don't believe he's going to bless you, you're not going to see the blessing that someone else is going to see. And some of you are nodding right now because you know what I'm talking about, because that's where you've been. You've stayed stuck in a rut, not believing it was going to happen for you. And so it didn't. The Bible tells us, ask and you will receive. Whatever a man thinks, so shall he be. If you want to be successful, you have to believe that you can, you have to believe that you will, and you have to believe that God's going to be with you every step of the way. You have to believe that if you show up, he's going to meet you there and he's going to help you, that his strength will be made powerful in your weakness. But you've got to believe that. So that's step one. Before I go into the money, I just want to say that for the people in the back, you've got to believe. Nothing else I say the rest of this Zoom will help you if you don't believe. And so if you don't believe for some crazy reason, still even now, I haven't convinced you, you got to get through that tonight. You got to sit down tonight and you got to decide that you believe. Do your self-development every single day. Don't just rely on the weekly Zoom on Monday night to carry you through the whole week. Every single day, start off doing your self-development. Okay, going into the money. So you guys, there are huge bonuses on the table. This diamond bonus, $15,000, is more than I have seen my entire time in the business. When I joined, it was 10,000. There was another point in the business later that it was 5,000. I know that was the diamond bonus Amanda earned, and a couple other of you guys on here. This is the highest it's ever been. When they said they were giving us more than they've ever given us, they're not kidding. And so you got to make these days count. When I first got started, you guys, I had some things I had to get over. I had some insecurities I had to overcome before I could really get my footing and get my momentum going. I always believed it was going to happen, but there were some things I was worried about what people thought. And when I got through those and I worked through those, that's when I really started seeing my business boom. And that's when I went from ruby to triple in 6 months. My 2.0 is a totally different story. I started my 2.0 and I told all of you guys, I started it May 15th and I was like, I'll be diamond by the end of summer. And I was diamond 10 weeks later. And so what I want to share with you guys, kind of like comparing both parts of my journey and like what I learned the first go around that helped me the second go around, is that number one, when we make a goal and we set a goal, we have to believe it's going to happen. We can't set a goal and then decide, and then like the next day or, the next week or whatever, wonder if it's going to happen and question it. If you question it, you're already setting yourself up for failure. You're already shooting yourself in the foot. So write down what you are determined to be by the end of February. Write down what you're determined to be by the end of March, and don't waver. Don't second guess if in a week you haven't filled the entire chart, if it's going to happen. That will literally, like when you do that, you guys, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So write down what you're going to be and believe it. Write it every single day. You guys heard in my affirmations, I write, I am double ambassador, I am black diamond. I write that every single day. I write, I earn well over $100,000 a month every single day. You don't write down, I will be. You don't write down, I hope I'll be. You don't write down, God, please make this true for me. You write down, I am. That's number one. One thing Pam said when I was at lunch with her on Sunday is she was talking about the importance of praying over your chart and thanking God for a full chart. She said, you will just literally look at that chart every single day and pray over it and say, thank you, God, for this full chart. Thank you for filling my chart. Thank you for bringing the most, independent, self-sufficient, joyful people to work with on this chart. And you will just sit there and pray over the chart. She's like, I promise you. She's like, that's the best thing y'all could do. And she literally told me, she said, so many people are trying to do all these things and they won't do this one thing and they wonder why their business isn't where it should be. And she said, if you guys, talking about like top leaders, would do nothing else but pray over your chart, your businesses would be better than it is today. And so I wanted to share that with you guys because it 100% stood out to me when she was saying that. And even praying the prayer of Jabez, I'll be honest, I haven't prayed over my entire chart like that. And when she said that, she convicted me to start praying over my chart. And so that's what I'm doing is I have my, in my iPad, I have, at this point, my chart looks a lot different. So I have like everybody's individual diamond charts and double diamond charts and so on. And I just go through and just pray over it. And so I wanted to share that with you guys too. Pull up that diamond chart. Maybe you only have 3 people on it. Maybe you're only charted ruby, but you want to be diamond by the end of the month. Pull out the diamond chart, have it in front of you at all times and pray over it and tell God, thank you so much for filling that chart. Thank you for bringing you the people that were meant to go on this journey with you. I love what Deborah said in the comments. God calls himself I am. Tell them that I am sent you. You are the image of God. Yes. And for those of you that are still struggling with like, does God want me to have, a great life? Does God want me to do this, that, and the other? Do you believe you were created in the image of God? Because if you believe you're a child of God, then you know that you are his child, his daughter, his son. You were created in his image and you're worthy of everything that he has for you if you'll simply believe. And so anyways, moving on, pull out your chart, fill it out, keep your chart in front of you. Do not let the chart intimidate you. The Zoom that Joel and Steph did with us right before conference, I had them talk about this because so many of you guys, and I'm saying this out of love, not out of judgment, You don't have your charts. I talked to a lot of you at conference, you don't have your charts. And you're like, I mean, I'm gonna work on it. I think I've got it almost filled. No, you have to have your chart. I would have not gone double diamond on my 2.0 last month, you guys, if I didn't have the chart. I had the diamond leg and the emerald leg beside each other in my iPad, and I looked at it every single day. I made sure that everything that I knew what was going on, because I could not have promoted if I didn't know what was going on. You cannot promote if you don't know what's going on. You've got to know what's going on. You need people in their places, and you need to run with who's running. I was sharing with a few of you guys today. I can't remember which chat I was saying it in, but run with the people who are running. Run with the people who are ready to do this. I don't care if you have this person in an emerald spot who's been in the emerald spot for, I don't know, a year, but they're not working and they barely answer your messages back, but they're charted emerald. No, you need to pull up that ruby who's busting their tail, who's on every single Zoom, who's, you see their picture right now on the Zoom, and they're so excited and so pumped up about their life, and they're in all the team chats, answering stuff, asking the right questions. You need them in the emerald spot. I don't care if they're 5 away from being charted. That's who you run with. They will go emerald, I promise you, if you run with them faster than that person who's not doing anything. Run with the people who want to run with you. Run with the people who are ready for this. The best thing I ever learned, and this is kind of another thing I wanted to share, like my one building the first time around versus building the second time around, is like recognizing who wants to run, recognizing who's ready for it. Some people are in the business, but they're not ready right now. They're in a funk. They're in a weird place. They're not committed to self-development. They're not showing up on Zooms. They get on one Zoom every 3 months. They don't answer the messages. They don't pay attention to what's going on the team page. You cannot bank on that being your diamond for you to go double diamond. You need to run with the person that's running. I don't care if it's the executive all the way at the bottom. You run with who's running. God sends us who we need if we'll simply ask, but you have to have your eyes wide open when they come. So often we discount the people he sends us because we're still trying to force something that's not going to happen. I want to tell a quick story. It's a story sometimes I like debate on telling on a recorded Zoom, but I'm going to tell it. When Zach was going double diamond, so at conference 2017, we went to conference at diamond. I was ruby in January. I went diamond at the end of January, and then we went to conference. So brand new diamond. They announced bonuses. In this season, you guys, in a 6-month period, I earned $130,000 of bonuses. I want you guys to let that soak in, okay? $130,000 of bonuses. And actually, it wasn't even a 6-month period. It was a 4-month period, now that I think about it. 5-month period, 4 or 5 months. Anyways, it was conference bonuses, 130,000. I went diamond, got that bonus. Zach went diamond, got his. I went double. The next month was Zach's last month he could get his double diamond bonus. They did the bonuses a little different that year, and it went by each rank. You had till this month to get it for diamond, this month to get it for double, this month to get it for triple. And so it was his last month to get it for double. He had his diamond already locked, ready to go. She was amazing. And she was going diamond 100%. And then his ruby, like, she was a mess. She never worked. She's not on the team today. She's not the one sitting here listening to me. But she was not in this. She was not ready for this. But she was like almost charted emerald. She was like, I think like 1 away from being charted. But she was literally a mess, if I could just communicate it in one word. And I prayed that God would send me the person that was supposed to go emerald. I knew in my heart I could not force her to go emerald. I knew it was going to be all on me. It wasn't going to happen. And I prayed that God would send me the person. And literally the next day, someone reached out to me that I had known for like probably 10 years, saying they'd been watching me. They really wanted to get started. They knew this business would be a blessing for them and their new baby. And I was like, okay, let's go. And I really felt like that was who God was sending me to be the emerald. And so I told him that. I said, hey, I have to build an emerald in 30 days for my husband to get this bonus. And I said, it's going to be a lot of work. And guys, this was the old charts. This wasn't the new chart. So the new charts, it's less people to go emerald. The old charts, it was more than it is to go diamond now to go emerald. It was 15 people to go emerald. So think of your diamond chart now, a little more than that, that was emerald. And I said, we only have 30 days to do it. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be a lot of work. You're going to have to run with me. You're going to have to believe it can happen. You're going to have to do everything I tell you to do. But I know that you can do it. And I really do believe that God sent you to me because I've been praying for someone who is ready to run. And I really think that you can do it. I would love for you to do it with me. We only have until April 30th. And this was like the last day of March that she joined. And she said, yeah, she's like, let's do it. She's like, I mean, I'm always up for adventure. And I texted Claire and I told Claire, and Claire was like, you only have 30 days to start from scratch. Don't you want to use this girl who's already, 1 away from being charted? And I said, no, she's not working. Like, she's a basket case. And Claire was like, okay, I trust your judgment. She's like, do what you feel like you need to do. And not only did she go Emerald and by that month, and Zach got the double diamond bonus, she went Emerald on the 27th. April 27th, 3 days early, went Emerald. Zach got the double diamond bonus. And I'm telling you, that's the power of working with the right people, of running with the people that want this, and not just trying to force the old, not just trying to make this leg work that's been crumbling. Don't be intimidated to erase everything on your chart and start over. Don't be intimidated to erase everything and get on your knees tonight and say, God, this leg of my chart needs some work. I believe you're going to fill it. Will you bring me the person that you have in mind for that emerald spot, for that ruby spot, for that diamond spot? Some of you are going for presidential, for that double diamond spot, whatever the case is, and say, will you bring me the person that I'm meant to run with? And just believe that he's going to do it. Don't ask him for it and then be like, well, he's probably not. It'll probably be 6 months from now before he brings me that. No, like believe he's going to do it. And then start working with that piece that it's going to happen. I promise you, if you will do that, your mind will be blown. I'm just going to shout out real quick and put them in the spotlight. Katie Park and Haley Wall, I know they're both on here. When I started my 2.0, you guys, I prayed. I opened it on May 15th. I had to wait till I was paid as ambassador before I could open it. And so it was May 15th, we got paid. I started praying and I said, God, send me 2 people that will run with me straight to the top, 2 people that will get it. And I literally prayed so many things. I was like, send me people that are self-sufficient, that are ready to run, people that are fast learners, people that are this, people that are that. Prayed all these things. And within 2 days, both of them signed. Literally within 2 days of praying that prayer, they both came out of the woodworks. And I knew right away that God was sending them to me to run with on my second account. And they've been a joy to work with ever since. We work together so well, and it's been absolutely so incredible working with them and, you know, going faster than I did the first time around. And I'm sharing that to say, any of you can pray that prayer. Any of you can look at, I didn't think to pray that, you guys, when I was going diamond. I wish I would have. The first time I considered praying that prayer was when Zach was going double. I was already double, Zach was going double, I was about to go triple. That's the first time it even crossed my mind to do that. And I can't even imagine how fast my business may have gone if I would have just done that from the beginning. So start praying over your chart, start believing that it's going to be full, and start believing that, and start requesting exactly what you want. Don't be afraid to ask God for the attributes that you want in your new team members. I promise you, those are prayers that he's faithful to answer, but we just don't think to ask. And if we do ask, we don't follow through and believe. And so that was the other thing that I wanted to talk about. And then the last thing that I wanted to say is make a constant plan. Like, have your plan for February, have your plan for March. So the bonuses are going till the end of March. Don't just have a plan to go diamond by the end of March. That's great, but what are you doing in February? If you just have a plan to go diamond by the end of March, I promise you it's not near as likely to happen as if you also have a plan for February. You need to have your milestone goals in place. I was talking to Catherine earlier today. Shout out to Catherine and her whole team. She was sharing with me that they all the new people on her team are all going to go Ruby by the 15th. And they have new people that are getting started, and they're coaching them all to go Ruby by the 15th. And then they're going to regroup on the 15th to, you know, make their goal from the 15th to the, the 29th. I forget February's leap year this year. And I think that is amazing. Like, that's what we all should be doing. Like, if you sign someone today that you're excited about, say, hey, I think you could go Ruby by the 15th. I'd love so much to help you do that. You just got 3 codes in your kit to sign 3 people up for $69 instead of $99. I'd love to coach you to Ruby. Are you in? Just ask people. People rise to the occasion, you guys. They're not going to fall to the level of their potential. They're going to rise to the level of your expectations. And so you got to put those expectations in place. And as the leader, cast the vision. If you're not casting the vision, that person, why are they going to run to diamond if you're not going to show them that it can be done? And if you're not going to help them make a plan? So shout out to them for doing that. Ruby by the 15th. I think that's something all of you guys should be doing. Ruby by the 15th, and then look at where they're at with their chart, with their volume, everything, and make the goal the 15th to the 29th. Maybe it's emerald by the 29th, and then diamond next month. You guys can do anything that you want to do if you'll simply make the plan, execute on it, and then believe that it's done. But those 3 components have to be together. And then the last thing that I wanted to say is, once you've got your plan in place for February, you know what you're going for by the end of February, and you know what you're going for by the end of March, make sure all of your front runners on your team have a plan too. Don't just assume they're going to run with you and that they've got these goals too. You've got to check in, and you've got to say, hey, what's your goal for February? What's your goal for March? They maybe are on this Zoom right now, but they still aren't going to do it because they're a little intimidated. You need to check in and say, hey, what are you committing to run to by the end of February? What are you committing to run to by the end of March? And you've got to check in and help them with that. Some people, you guys, they're hearing me say this right now and they're still a little scared. So be that follow through. I'm doing my very, very best to touch everybody in the chats and to try to make sure everybody has what they need. But ultimately, it's each of our jobs to individually with our teams to make sure everyone's needs are met, to make sure everyone, we're touching everyone. So if you're on here and you're double diamond running for triple, make sure your diamond is in constant contact with her leg. Make sure your emerald is in constant contact with her leg, and then you do your very best to fill the gaps. Make sure that everyone is getting what they need. I would encourage you during this time to make sure that you have your charts for all of your team, and your team has their charts. You guys, I have my chart. I have charts in my iPad for anyone that's going diamond and above. That's my personally enrolled, and it doesn't matter if they might have their chart or not. Like, I have it so I can look at it, but I'm going to expect the chart from them. So if they come to me and they're asking me for, hey, where should I move this distributor? I'm going to say, hey, send me your chart. And some of you are, I see, smiling right now because I do that to you. I'm not just going to be like, well, I have your chart right here, move it here. I'm going to say, send me your chart, because I want to make sure they're keeping up with it too. And then we're going to compare them. If there's a mistake on their chart, I'm going to see it. I'm going to compare it to mine. And that's how you can coach them and make sure there's no surprises at the end of the month where someone thinks they were charted, but really there was one box missing or anything crazy like that. So make sure you're doing that for your team, and really, really making sure that no one's falling through the cracks. But the last thing that I just want to leave you with, you guys, is just pray, pray, pray. I know I touched on that a little bit when I was talking about prayer, Jabez. But if you find yourself getting anxious, if you find yourself getting stressed, pray over your team, pray over your business, pray over your enrollments, and just pray for peace. My most favorite thing to pray if I'm getting antsy at the end of the month, or if I'm just feeling overwhelmed, is I'll just say, God, please take this anxiety away from me and replace it with your perfect peace. Because I know that's the only thing that's going to make me feel better. 30 more host to post isn't going to take the anxiety away. I'm going to feel proud of myself for doing it, but I might still feel anxious. Sitting down and doing 100 follow-ups isn't going to take the anxiety away. I'll feel proud of myself, but I'm still going to feel anxious. And so I've learned you can't just do the work in vain and not pray and ask God for his help too. The two have to come together and be married together for you to have the type of month that you want to have, and for your business to flourish in the way that you want it to flourish. And so I love you guys so much. I hope that all of you guys have the most absolute best month ever, and that you believe you can have the best month ever. I hope no one walks away from this Zoom tonight doubting themselves any longer. I hope every single person walks away with their head held high, knowing that if anyone else can do it, so can they. And I hope everyone starts doing their affirmations. I want to challenge you guys, even if you think I'm just completely crazy right now, make a commitment to do your affirmations every single day this month, and just tell me I'm wrong at the end of the month. I dare you. I promise you, if you do this, you guys, your business will be changed. Pray the prayer of Jabez over your business. Do your affirmations. Don't be afraid to write those big things down. Don't feel bad about the things that are, on your heart that you've been secretly hoping and thinking about, and wishing could be true for you. Boldly write it down and believe that it will happen. Pray over it, and I promise you, you'll watch God move mountains in your business this month. So I love you guys. Tune in to everything going on in the team page this month, everything going on in the chats. Make sure you keep the chats positive. If you're negative in the February chat, you will be removed. This is a month where none of us can afford to be distracted. Everyone needs to be focused. So if you are in that chat, you come with solutions. Don't come with complaints. Don't come with whining. Come with solutions. And if you have something you're discouraged about, go to your enroller, ask them for advice. Say, hey, I'm experiencing this. What am I doing wrong? Can you help me? Don't just say, well, nothing's working. I'm talking to everybody, nothing's happening. No, go to them and say, hey, can you take a look at what I'm saying to people? Can I send you some screenshots? Will you look at it? Will you give me some constructive criticism? Will you give me some feedback? That's the language we should be using if we want things to work for us. If we want things to work for us, that's the way we're going to talk. If we don't want things to work for us, we're just going to say it's not working. But if you say it's not working, I promise you, you don't want it to work. You got to believe that it can work for you. You got to look for solutions, and that includes in the chat. This chat, you guys, is for everyone that's running strong, that's running hard, that's focused, and is ready for things to happen in their life and in their business. And if that's not you right now, that's fine. But just know that is the expectations of the chat, is to be excited and to be solution minded and to be ready to run, ready to make things happen. So we have an opportunity event, you guys. I shared on the team page and I shared in the chat tomorrow night that I'm co-hosting with 2 other Ambassador Diamonds. You guys can invite your potentials to that. Once it's live, you literally can just tag your potentials in that chat, or invite. There's an invite button on my videos that you can share it with them. And then Alyssa and I are doing another opportunity event on Thursday. So we're going to make sure you guys have all the resources, you're fully equipped, and you guys have everything to share with your potentials and invite people to. The last thing I wanted to say is use your $69 codes wisely. Do not just give them to anybody, you guys. Give them to people who are ready to work. I'm just going to shout Melanie Anderson out. Sorry, Melanie. But Melanie was telling a story at conference, and she was saying how she still remembers that when I had a code, when she signed, that I told her she had to be serious if I was going to give her a code, and that I wasn't going to give her one if she wasn't serious, and I needed a commitment from her. I didn't even really remember I said this, you guys, but she talks about it all the time. I've heard her talk about it at green carpet. She brought it up again at conference, and I kind of laughed, and I think Deborah was sitting there and she was laughing too. And I said, this really impacted you, didn't it, Melanie? She said, yeah, I knew that you were serious, that if you were giving me that code, I had to be a good steward of it. And so I came in ready to work, ready to do whatever I needed to do. And so I want you guys to know you only have 3 codes. 3 codes for you, 3 for your husband. If your husband ran an auto shipment too, use those codes wisely. Don't just hand them out like candy. I'm not even telling most people I'm talking to about the code. I'm signing people for $99. And then if I have, potential that's been on the fence for a while, I'll offer a code to them. I'll say, hey girl, I know you've been on the fence about the business for a while. I wanted to let you know I just got back from conference. Bonuses were dropped for the year. There's so much happening. I'd love so much to finally be able to help you get started. I was given a couple codes for a few people to get started for $69 instead of $99. I'd love to give you one if you were ready to get started today. That's the way I use the codes, is a follow-up to seal the deal. I'm not leading with it when people reach out. I'm not leading with it with host to post. And so that's my advice to you guys too. Those codes will go fast. So use them wisely and make sure you're giving them to people who want to work, who that's going to be a little bit of a blessing for them, coming in for $69 instead of $99, but they're coming in excited. They're coming in ready to work. They're coming in believing that everything they're seeing happen in your life in the business can happen for them too. So I love you guys. I hope you guys have a good night. I will see you guys tomorrow on the Opportunity Live with your potentials. And then also we have a Going Diamond in 90 Days or Less Zoom that is a corporate Zoom that will be tomorrow night as well. I'll share the link in the page and in the chat, and that's a Zoom that Cheyenne Knox is hosting. I'll be on it with Tiffany Herr, with Ali Antonacci, a few other ambassadors, all people who went Diamond in 90 Days or Less on either their 1.0 or 2.0. So you guys are going to get to hear from people who did it, people who know what it takes to do, know what it takes to get it done. That'll be tomorrow night. And then last announcement, last but not least, Wednesday morning, I'm hosting a corporate field training with Cami and Mira. I think Amanda already posted the details for that in Fire Tribe, but I'll share it again and in the chat for you guys. But it's going to be a corporate field training on the new steps to success. So you're going to want to make sure you tune into that. It's going to be Wednesday morning, and it'll be like 30 minutes long, but it's something you definitely want your newbies on, you want to be on. It's all about new steps to success and what to do. So I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great night. If you guys need anything else, let me know. Kayla, yes, this will be posted. So, all right, I will talk to you guys later. If you guys need anything at all, come to the chat and we'll get you covered. Bye, guys.